This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Thursday, August 19. In Squiz Kids Today, mice plague returns. The 10-year-old skate park king. Dua Lipa's Elton John moment, and beware the bear in the bin. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Mice. They look so cute with their pink little ears and tiny little whiskers. And if it was just one of them running around a paddock and you were a farmer, you probably wouldn't bat an eyelid. But when there are millions of them and they are eating all your crops and getting into your grain silos and overrunning your house, that's another story altogether. And it's a prospect that farmers in Queensland and Western Australia are nervously anticipating, which is a fancy way of saying they're worried a mouse plague might be soon upon them. The number of mice in farming towns like Biloela in central Queensland and across the Grain Belt, which is a large stretch of farmland in Western Australia, have been starting to grow at an alarming rate, leaving landowners worried it's only a matter of time before the problem is out of control. You'll remember, of course, that large parts of New South Wales, ACT and Victoria were in the grip of a mouse plague earlier this year. So why are we seeing such an explosion in mouse numbers across the countryside? Because the rains that have fallen this year have seen lots of crops grow, giving mice plenty to eat. And where icy temperatures would normally keep mice numbers under control, a warmish winter means they're now ready to rumble. Remember yesterday we told you about how a new daily record had been set for Aussies getting COVID vaccines? And how the outbreak of Delta variant clusters in our big cities was prompting record numbers of Aussies to roll up their sleeves? Well, kids aged 12 to 15 might soon be next in line. Reports say that government planning is already underway to get vaccines into schools, because the sooner we're all jabbed, the sooner we can say goodbye to these lockdowns and get back to normal.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Lake Tahoe, in the United States, where a man was startled when he opened his garbage bin to find a bear inside. The man was throwing out dog poo. Seriously, this story has it all. When he opened the lid of the dumpster only to find a bear inside. The man was so scared that he fell backwards. No word on whether the dog poo made it into the bin or not. Apparently, the bear was just as surprised as the man, and quite possibly a little bit annoyed. There's nothing worse, after all, than trying to settle down for a meal in a dumpster and having someone open it to throw dog poo on your head. Don't you hate it when that happens?
Sport time.
We love a good story of kids taking matters into their own hands, and this one's a cracker. A 10-year-old skateboarder in country New South Wales has designed $1 million skate park for his town in the hopes of pushing the grown-ups along to actually build it. Xavier Lahoksky, who lives on the coastal town of Merimbula, has set his sights on competing at the Brisbane Olympics in 2032, but he reckons his town needs a much better skate park for him to practice in. The local skateboard association totally agrees. It's been trying to get one built for 5 years, but the local council isn't so sure. So, Xavier watched YouTube videos on how to use a computer design program. Then he created plans for his dream skate park. He and his mates have since been collecting bottles from the tip and holding bake sales to raise money for it too. Legends. Now they just need the council to come to the party. You've got this, Xavier.
Pop Culture Corner.
Look, I know it's early days, but I'm going to call it. The new Dua Lipa Elton John collaboration Cold Heart which is a mashed-up reimagining of Elton's 1980s hits Sacrifice and Rocket Man, is set to become the sound of the Aussie summer. Now, why do I say that? Because it's just exploded in Europe and America, where it actually is summer right now, given they're in the Northern Hemisphere and all, and it's just so catchy. And it's one of those songs that very cleverly appeals to Dua Lipa fans, that's people your age, and Elton John fans, which is people my age. The song was voted most popular new song by Billboard readers in a poll this week, edging out Aussie rapper The Kid Leroy's collab with Justin Bieber, the equally catchy Stay. And the cool bit? The Elton Dua song is the handiwork of Australia's own Pnow, a dance music trio from Sydney. Because it's a Thursday, and given the week we've all had, we all need a little lift. There's a link to the video in today's episode notes. Turn it up and dance like no one's watching.
It's Q&A time.
Yes, folks, the wait is over. The day has arrived when all your questions about goalball and the Paralympics will be answered. Tian Taylor graciously took the Squiz Kids Q&A hot seat before jetting off to Japan. And with the Paralympics starting next Tuesday, it's the perfect opportunity to get excited about a whole new raft of cool sports and incredible athletes from all over the world. If you're listening on a podcast app, the Q&A should play immediately following this episode. Otherwise, look for it on the Squiz Kids website. It's a cracker. Attention teachers and parents of Squiz Kids. Your favourite daily news podcast for kids has a teensy-weensy favour to ask of you. We've created a survey to get a sense of how we can improve the podcast to better suit your needs. But what is a survey without people to fill it out? It only takes 5 minutes, and everyone who fills it out goes into the draw to win a $200 Booktopia voucher. Woohoo! There's a link to the survey in your episode notes. But be aware it closes this Friday, so don't put it off. As they say in the classics, it would be enormously appreciated.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. A plague of what animal is threatening to overrun farms in Queensland and WA? That's right, they're mice. Question number 2. What did a man in Lake Tahoe find inside his bin? Yeah, it was a bear. Question number 3. Which pop artist has joined forces with Elton John to produce a cracking new song? You got it, it's Dua Lipa.
Shout-outs.
It's August 19, World Photography Day, National Beekeepers Day in the Ukraine, and International Talk Like Jar Jar Binks Day, which is a highly controversial day. You know how I feel about Jar Jar Binks. Not a fan. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Romy from Darling Point, Redeemer from Hornsby, Alicia from Henley Beach South, Angus from Hunters Hill, Hugo from Withcott, Nina from Mount Annan, Bella from Narrowena, Ollie from Yarraville, Lola from New South Wales, Ben from Mount Gravatt East, Liam from Melbourne, Albertine from Springwood, Rebecca from Perth, Taylor from Wallaroo, and Jessica and Emma from Glen Innes. And belated birthday shout-outs today go to Blade and Charlize from Mornington and Ardal from Kilmore. Plus, because our friends in Melbourne, Canberra, and all of New South Wales are in lockdown, we're sending out home learning herograms. Andrew in Year 5 at Dural Public School would like to give a shout-out to Miss Fitzgerald, Mrs. Barhon, and all of Year 5. He can't wait to get back to school to see everyone. Max sends a home learning herogram to Mrs. Hockey from 34H at Balgownie Public School and says thanks for being such a great teacher. Arisa and Siobhan from grade 6 at DY Public School send a home learning herogram to all of their grade and especially the incredible grade 6 teachers. A home learning shout out also to the grade 3s at DY Public School. And one last home learning shout out to all the students at Kew Primary School in Melbourne for doing such an awesome job in their 6th lockdown. Plus, a couple of classroom shout-outs to those of you not in lockdown. To the hard-working students in 5N and 5F at Our Lady of the Angels School at Wavell Heights. And also to Class 5P at St Francis Xavier Primary School in Geraldton and their teacher in training, Mr Hood. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you'd like a classroom shout-out, or you'd like to send a home learning herogram, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out. Squiz Kids is proudly supported by the Judith Neilson Institute for Journalism and Ideas.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.